The fall of the house of the narcissist. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So there was a famous book years ago by Edgar Allan Poe, The Fall of the House of Usher. And that is why this video is being created. You see, that was the motivation for this video. The fall of the house of the narcissist is when the narcissist has become so dismantled, so unraveled. They're falling apart at the seams and they don't know where to go. They don't have the fuel sources they used to have. They are becoming or have become what is known as the aging narcissist. You should know by now that the aging narcissist is not a pretty sight to see. You see, the narcissist at one point had everything they wanted and more when they were with you. You were doing everything you could. You were going above and beyond the call of duty. You were supporting a person who was trying to destroy your life. You were supporting a person who was acting a part. You were supporting a person who was administering the smear campaign, even though you didn't know what the smear campaign was. You didn't know what narcissism was, and you didn't know that another person could be your abuser, who perhaps you fell in love with or loved or cared about deeply, or definitely who you opened your heart to. You wore your heart on your sleeve. You were an open book. You were a person who was naive. You were trusting. You were giving to a fault, and you were committed. The narcissist knew all of these things. They also knew that they were going to take whatever they could from you. They also knew it would take a while, a slow drip, if you will, essentially death by 1,000 paper cuts, until they got everything that they wanted. And right when they thought they had finished you off, then they probably ripped the mask off, gave you a smirk, maybe a side eye, maybe blamed you, a rage fit, maybe discarded you, or all of the above. And in their tiny little pea brain, they said, yeah, I really fooled you. I really manipulated you. And I crushed you, and you're not going to make it. You'll stay stuck pining for me. You won't even know what I did to you. That's what the narcissist says, because they had done this and accomplished it so many times before they met you, which is why you're different. You're a person who has cracked the code. You're getting the wisdom. You are applying the tools that are provided for you with each and every video I create, and from all the amazing comments and the insightful and intuitive comments and the comments using discernment from all over the world. We at all were what was known as the new supply at one point. The new supply is not who you want to be. The new supply is a person who is going to be peppered with abuse, probably worse than you got it. And you may think, how is that possible? How can somebody get it worse than I can? Well, remember how I opened the video, the aging narcissist, they get worse. And their expectancy of life is shrinking every single second they're on the planet. So they have to make up for that lack of time with more abuse, which is why they become older and older, decrepit, anxiety-riddled, wrinkles all over their face, losing their hair, no teeth to be found, and they're just sitting there saying, if only anybody would pick up the phone, if only anybody would give me the time of the day, if only anybody would pay attention to me like they used to. Well, that is reality for the narcissist. Maybe not as graphic as that, but I will assure you one thing. The more people become awakened and aware, educated, and empowered on narcissism, human behavior, humanity, mindset, empathy, commitment, and what authenticity is, the more we are understanding that we want nothing to do with a narcissist or toxic behavior. We didn't know any of this in the past because we were believing in what another person was telling us. And so why the narcissist had the best thing they will ever have in you, you're understanding that now. And this isn't lip service, this is reality. Who would give as much as you gave to a person, and who would give as much as they gave for as long as they gave to a person? You and you. That's why once the narcissist figured out who you were and they learned all about you, meaning your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, your educational level, your background, your romantic relationships, your upbringing, if you would inherit money, your intelligence level, and so much more, that's when they said, wait, I need this supply source for myself. Usually the narcissist has multiple sources at any one time. That's what I talked about, and I have talked about for almost 5 years. And it was true with me, and I'm sure it's true with you. But when they find a grade A source of supply, if you will, a person who will do the tasks or the responsibilities of, let's say, 3, 4, 5 people, and they will not complain, they will turn a blind eye, and they will continue to stay focused or committed in that relationship, the narcissist doesn't want to lose that kind of supply. You must remember something. I don't look at you or myself as supply. Supply to me is Clorox. It's a wipey or paper towels where you have to put gas or electricity in your car. To the narcissist, a human being is supply. A human being who will become or has become the unpaid helper, the walking apology, the regulator, the sounding board, the cook, the cleaner, the errand person, the chauffeur, the person who will change the diapers of the narcissist figuratively and probably literally as they become the aging narcissist. And what this person will do is they will do anything they can to improve the betterment, to improve the circumstances of the person who's abusing them, i.e. the narcissist. Well, that's who we were in the past. We are no longer doing those things because we now understand that we are the priority and we come first, second, third. There's no room in our lives now or in the future for toxicity. And this is why the fall of the house of the narcissist will continue to become worse and worse for them. Because at one point, as I've shared 2 times, and I'll share it for the 3rd time, the narcissist had you in their clutches. They had you in their jaws. They had their dirty fangs sunken into you. They could have extracted as much as they wanted, and I can assure you they did take almost everything. But they didn't take everything because you're still here, and you figured it out. You figured out what narcissism is, just like I have. You see, most of the people that the narcissist met before you, they A, aren't here on the planet, true. B, they're stuck blaming themselves and wondering what went wrong. Or C, they are still in the trauma bond or caught up and thinking that the narcissist one day will come back and be there with them and they will change and they will have found their soulmate, etc., which is the person that you're considering. None of those are good. What's good is when you finally get the message, you go no contact, you block that person, you delete them, you remove them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them, if not now, when? Because the fall of the house of the narcissist, it's getting worse right now. Consider the person that you were in the relationship with. Maybe it ended a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 or more. Maybe it ended 5 months ago. Their circumstances have not improved. Now you may think, well, no, they have. They're out jet skiing and skinny surfing, and they're out in the Bahamas drinking Mai Tais, and they're out in the mountain skiing with the best ski instructors and all these things. Well, that's what they want you to think, and maybe they actually are doing some of those things. But what they're doing should have no effect on you, number one. Number two, that's their mask. That's the illusion. It's probably on somebody else's dime. And number three, whoever they're with or whatever they're doing, remember, the narcissist can't sit still. They're not loyal to anybody. They don't care about any one person. All they care about is what that person does for them. So whoever the narcissist is with right now, i.e. the new supply or maybe a recycled source of supply, that person's either getting abused or they are the abuser. There is no relationship with a narcissist that ends in kumbaya, it ends in happy ever after or happily ever after, because there's no commitment on the behalf of the narcissist. There's no transparency, there's no authenticity, there's no genuineness. With a narcissist, you get one word, I, or me, or you. There is no such thing as we. That's why so many times people think, oh, well, I thought I met the love of my life, my soulmate, the yin to my yang, the person that completed me. We're going to grow old together and have the white picket fence and the grandkids and all that. Yeah, that's what the narcissist wanted you thinking. Did you have kids? Probably. Do you have grandkids? Possibly. Are you able to see those kids or grandkids? I can't tell you, but what I can tell you is if the narcissist has infected your family, probably some of your kids you're not talking to or you're being alienated from or vice versa, or maybe they turn out to be toxic. And that's why it's going to go down to the grandkids. I'm not saying every person on the planet's the narcissist, anything but. What I'm saying is if you have 2 people in a relationship and they, let's say it was a romantic relationship and they got married and they had kids and those kids had kids and one of those people is toxic, the other person is you. Well, the other person, the toxic person, is going to do whatever they need to do to destroy your life, your relationships, your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, your goals, and any memories in the future that you may have been able to create with people who loved and trusted you, but the narcissist smeared you to them. So this is why the fall of the house of the narcissist, it's coming unraveled right now. It always will be coming unraveled. And they may have the fanciest house, the nicest watch, they may have the beach homes and the yachts and all that. In their tiny little brain, they can't escape themselves. They can't escape reality. They can't escape what they did. And more people on the planet are beginning to figure out who the narcissist is, what they did, and they're putting more and more pieces of the puzzles together. I shared this in the video yesterday. If there's a puzzle that needs to be put back together post-narcissistic relationship, and let's say it has 1 million pieces, many of us find X number of pieces, which could be 100, could be 5,000, it could be 50,000 or more, and then we get the wisdom and we have enough pieces of the puzzle to put together a clear picture of what has happened to us and how it happened. via the narcissist. None of us, not one of us, will ever be able to put all million pieces of the puzzle together. And you may think, no, you can't. You can't. And the reason you can't is because you will never get the truth out of the narcissist. You will never know what was a fabrication, what was a lie, and what was bogus or what was real. And you will never know where they were when they weren't with you, just like you never knew where they were when they were with you, because they weren't with you mentally. They may have been with you physically, but they were probably on one of their 3 smartphones, checked out looking for your replacement, which is why you'll never have that millionth piece of the puzzle to be put in place. Because does it exist? Yes. Will you ever find it? No, I won't either. Which is why once you get as much education and wisdom that answers the questions that you may have had in the past and possibly have a couple of answers to right now, or looking at questions right now, that's when you finally give yourself closure. Closure won't come in on the behalf of the narcissist. The narcissist will do anything but give you closure. But simultaneously, while they're trying to keep you stuck and reeling and pining and thinking about them, which no longer works because you've healed or you're healing, as you're simultaneously, their house is beginning to crumble. It's beginning to fall apart. Just like the fall of the house of Usher, the fall of the house of the narcissist, it's not a pretty sight. This is when anybody who gets too close to them, which means their kids, if their kids are adults now and they have kids or those grandkids, or the extended family members, their friends, their colleagues, their besties, their coworkers, their business associates, their clients, all these people are beginning to understand that the toxic person wasn't you. You are the empath. You're what I call the beautiful, bright, shining light. The toxic person is the person you're watching this video for, meaning the person that led you to my channel, the person that disrupted your energy, the person that spun your world upside down. That's the toxic person. Again, I shared this in a video last week or two. You have 2 people in a relationship, and one person's toxic, the other person's healthy or stable, and it ends abruptly, and boom, just like discard comes out of left field, and the person who's toxic is out drinking it up or laughing it up or having fun or on dating apps or celebrating or having a me weekend or posting all over social media. Yes, my heart's so broken, I can't believe it's over. Well, that's your toxic person right there. The person that got abused is the person that stays in the cocoon of boundaries and has to figure out what just happened to them. And you're looking at one of them right here. Yes, me. The person who had to heal, who had to really deduce what took place. The person who had to figure out, how did you allow this to happen to you? How did it happen to you? How did you not see the signs? Well, now we know all the answers. The answers are the narcissist was a master manipulator. They still probably are if they're still breathing air. And all they did was fine-tune their skill set with what they did in the past to what they did with you. And once they jettisoned the relationship with you, they did it with the new supply, and on and on and on. But I'm going to say this example one more time, then I will prepare to close the video. If you have 2 people in a relationship and it ends abruptly, kind of out of left field, it doesn't have to end out of left field, but usually they do. And the one person you don't hear from, they're under the radar for quite a while. That person most likely is the non-toxic person, like yours truly. If the other person, the toxic person's out dancing it up, buying new clothes, changing their hair, new lipstick, fake eyelashes, and the Brazilian butt lift and all these things, and they're just living their best life, and they don't look like they're injured or they don't look like they're missing the person that they just discarded or just removed, well, there's your toxic person in a nutshell right there. Now, does this apply to everybody? Absolutely not. Does it apply to a lot of people? Yes, it does. Think about it. Think about when your relationship ended. It probably ended by a discard, again, as I said, out of left field, and you were reeling. Your whole support system had blown up. Your whole life was twisted upside down. It was as if an atom bomb just blew off in your house, or blew up in your house in your mind, because that's what happened. What'd the narcissist do? Oh, see you later. I've got a new supply. I'm going to go start working out at the gym again, even though I've already lost 20 pounds over the last 3 months because I'm dating the trainer, but you're not supposed to know about that. Wink, wink. Or I'm going to continue to use my Mediterranean diet, and I'm going to continue to go all over the globe on your dime, because when we get divorced, you'll be paying for everything for me, because I never loved you, never cared about you, but I'm going to drag this out as long as possible. Oh, and by the way, I'll be taking pictures and selfies and post them all over Facebook and Instagram and every other social media platform. So you, in case you're not healed, and you're probably not, you'll be peeking at them thinking that you're missing me. See, that's what the narcissist does. That's why you need to get off the radar of these people. That's why you need to have a small footprint. That's why you need to not overshare, and you need to understand that the narcissist never had your best interest at heart then, now, and they certainly won't in the future. And the fall of the house of the narcissist, it will only continue to get worse for them. It will deteriorate more and more as more and more people continue to close doors on the narcissist, as more and more people lose their phone number intentionally, as more and more people don't answer the emails or don't answer the texts or don't pick up the phone or don't take the bait any longer. There's an expression in English or a famous fable or something called the boy who cried wolf. Think about that. What is the boy who cried wolf? It's a boy who up in the mountains somewhere was a shepherd or something, and he claimed that there was a wolf attacking the sheep. Well, he faked out the village once, he faked out the village twice, he faked out the village 3 times, and the villagers didn't go any longer. And what happened? The boy cried wolf, and the wolf actually was taking advantage of the sheep. Well, that's what happens with the narcissist. Not the boy who cried wolf is the narcissist, but people are figuring out that the narcissist will play any angle of any narrative that they want to, and if they can't find one, they'll make one, which is why you need to get as far away from these people as fast as you possibly can. Get off the radar of the narcissist and heal properly. And understand one thing, just like Edgar Allan Poe's famous story years ago, The Fall of the House of Usher, the fall of the house of the narcissist will be worse than that book. And I'll tell you why. Because that was a book. That was inside some person, some author's mind, and he came up with that idea, maybe on absinthe or whatever he was doing. And yes, I'm very educated. But your real life story is based on your real life experiences. It's not a book from years ago. It's your real life story. That's what makes this even more challenging, more frightening, and more profound. You live something, and what you live through, very few people will ever be able to understand. I can't understand because I lived it, which is why I can finish your sentence in a second. And if you've healed, or if you're healing, you could probably finish my sentence. If you can't, you will be able to soon enough. But any way you look at it, post-narcissistic relationship, after you begin to really heal, your life begins to change. It begins to improve. Your health returns, your energy returns, your clarity returns, your money or financial status usually returns, and everything else will return. And you will have weeded out the old of the past, the toxicity of the past, and you will have a smaller footprint, a smaller circle, and you will have people around you that you trust and love, and vice versa. Because this relationship has knocked you down for the count, but it didn't knock you out. You knocked the narcissist out. You gave them the KO punch of a lifetime, right in the nose. Of course, not literally, figuratively. But when you knocked out the narcissist, that's all you needed to do. Remove that 800-pound gorilla from your shoulders and begin to elevate. And that's what we all do on the healing path. So the fall of the house of the narcissist, it's only going to get worse for them. This is why they can't sit still. This is why they can't keep a job. This is why they're always needing other people to do things for them. This is why they always relocate. This is why they can never, ever be happy with any one thing. And this is why whenever you were close to them in the past, they will complain if you had pepperoni on your pizza, or if you had ham, or if you had anchovies, or if you had double cheese. It didn't matter. You couldn't win, which is why you need to get away from these sinking ships as fast and as far as you possibly can. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the rainy Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And this is one of my favorite types of days because it's the rain. There is no, very little noise from, let's say, the exterior, just Mother Nature, myself, and you. I hope no matter where you are enjoying your beautiful afternoon or evening, and I hope that you're safe and sound, and understand if where you are is where you want to be, stay there. If where you are is not where you want to be, there is work to be done. But going back to that puzzle example, if there are a million pieces in the puzzle of solving the narcissistic relationship and figuring out every last detail, you will never get that millionth piece. I won't either. You need to take as many pieces as you can get, put them together, see a clear picture of the abuse, the toxicity, the manipulation, the lies, the cheating, the stealing, and more, financial abuse and more. And then you need to say, okay, I have enough. I don't need any more confirmation. And when you do, you close the chapter of the book on the narcissist, you go no contact, and you begin to leave them in the past as they slither off lower and lower into that low vibrational state. Love y'all. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.